Hey FCD fam, hope you guys are doing awesome today. Okay, so I have a different video that I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be sharing my experience as to why I left Christianity. That's right, I grew up as a Christian and now I'm no longer a Christian anymore. So what happened? This is a big question that you guys have been asking me on social media as well as also in the comments and emails. So I decided to dedicate a video to answering that question. To start off, Christianity was a huge influence in my life. It really shaped me to who I was today, and it sparked my interest in actually learning about God and solidified my belief that there is a God or higher power, whatever terminology you want to use. There's something there, right? And the main desire for me to want to learn about God was, I was discussing with my family, and we're reading the book of Genesis that said that God made man in his image after his likeness. So I'm like, oh, interesting. Okay, so we humans are made like God. I'm like, but first of all, isn't that breaking the first commandment? Don't have any other gods before me, and you know, there's nothing or no one like God. So what do you mean we're made in God's image and likeness? So I decided to, look at that question more, and it actually excited me because I was like, okay, well, I guess humans somehow, some way, we're similar to God. So what are those ways that we as humans are similar to God? And that got me on a tangent. I stayed up all night, literally going through the Bible for hours. I didn't sleep that night. I'm just trying to read and soak up, because the Bible was the only book that I knew of at the time that was supposedly inspired by God. So I was just going based off of the materials that I knew. My family was Christian, so the material I used was the Bible, and I went through that, and I didn't sleep, guys. I was so interested. I wanted to know, how are humans like God? In what way? And if we're like God in his image and likeness, then that means God must look like something. And I wanted to see God. I wanted to be able to talk to God face to face. And I was like, okay, I don't want to take anybody's word of who God is or what God is. I want to know for myself. So is it even possible to talk to God directly? Is it even possible to see God? And as the years went by, I read most of the Old Testament, about 60 or 70% the Old Testament of the Bible, and I read the entire New Testament multiple times actually, and I thought I'd come to a conclusion that I think I figured it out. I figured out how it's possible for someone to see God and talk to God directly. And I said, okay, we humans of ourselves, we can't do it. We don't stand a chance to see God. We don't stand a chance to talk to God face to face, be in the presence of God. And I believed that the only way that a human could actually do that and actually get that privilege is if they were completely transformed, like in their thinking, their mentality, all new different brain patterns, and they needed to have the exact type of mindset and lifestyle like Jesus. So, as Christians talk about Jesus dying for your sins, I believe that, okay, well, since Jesus died for everybody's sins, now humans are actually able to have that privilege, because we of ourselves, we couldn't do it. So now Jesus took that punishment, that separation from God for us so that we don't have to experience it. So then what? Oh, okay, so now I have to allow God and the Holy Spirit and Jesus to transform my mind so that I can see clearly, and end of the day, I'll be able to keep all of the commandments, because that's really the prerequisite to enter into heaven and see God. And the only way you could see God and keep the commandments is if your mind was completely transformed and you were living like Jesus. You're thinking, breathing, acting like Jesus. And I said, I got it. So of course I want to share that with people. That was my belief. That was my conviction at the time. And I know there's various different denominations and they have various different beliefs. But I was like, okay, well, we got to keep the 10 commandments. So that whatever's in the 10 commandments, we got to do. We as humans, we can't do it. So I figured out a way to do it. And I'm going to show that to people. And that's when things got real crazy, guys. I would go around to people literally sometimes on the streets and talk to them about the Bible and God and Jesus and, you know, what do they think happens when they die? And I literally would go to people on the streets and talk to them, family and friends. And this was a large portion of my life, trying to convince people that they have to live like this. And it started getting a little frustrating because I was like, okay, God, if you want people to know the truth, why do you make it so hard for people to learn the truth? You know, I feel like I had the truth. I felt like I knew it all. And I'm like, but people ain't listening. So what's up here? You know, are they all going to go to hell? Are they all never going to get to see you? What's up here? So that was a real big point of frustration for me. And I literally would get angry. Sometimes I'd literally cry because I was like, people don't see it. People don't get it. It was very emotional, guys. And that led me to join this group of other Christians who I thought that, okay, these people, this group, they are the only people that I know of that are very, very serious about learning about God, very, very serious about trying to convince people that this is the only way that you got to see God. And with that group, you know, a lot of supernatural events started happening every time I was with them. Like I remember one time we're having lunch at my house and this young man, he's not even a teenager, I think, at the time. I was told, okay, he's possessed by a demon. So this guy literally falls on the floor. He starts to go around like a snake. He's laughing uncontrollably. And me and the people there, we literally see his eyes turn black. And I'm not making this up. Whether he was possessed or not, I don't know. But all I know is that I heard his voice change. I saw him laugh uncontrollably on the floor. He was moving around like a snake. His eyes turned black. So the more and more things I saw like this when I was with this group, the more I was convinced, like, wow, these people are doing the Lord's work. And sometimes they would say something would happen like, oh, God told me to go here and I would see this person. And lo and behold, that person was there. So I'm hearing these stories of people sharing their experiences and I'm like, oh, wow, God is really in this group. God is leading. So finally was a time when there was talk about there's this big flood that was going to come to my home city of Toronto, Canada. And we're talking amongst ourselves in the group saying that this flood is going to come. And I was like, okay, this is now the opportunity. If this happens, and when this happens, everybody's going to see that what we're saying is 100% the truth, and now they will listen. Yeah, that was my mentality at the time. Just like, well, I wanted destruction to happen in order to convince people that I was right. Yeah, a very sort of twisted way to look at things afterwards. After I just looked back on my life, I was like, wow, you know, that was very twisted of me. Anyways, long story short, the flood did not happen. The day came, nothing happened. And we were going out there telling people on the streets, hey, this is happening, this is happening. Nothing happened. And of course, it was like, whoa, interesting. So I started to take a step back going, okay, all right. Something's wrong here. Something is wrong. So I decided to not hang around with this group anymore because I was embarrassed. And about a year and a half after that, my brother told me about this personal development course that he took and that it really helped him to see life differently and that it should help me too. Because I was in a pretty sad place, pretty dark place for a little while. And I wasn't interested in hearing anything, but, you know, I eventually said, all right, let me just do this course. What do I have to lose anyways? Might as well take a look at different things, different beliefs and ideologies. So I said, okay, let me do that. I gave Christianity a shot. You know, let me see what else is here. And in that course, I learned that a lot of people with various different cultural backgrounds and religious backgrounds, you know, they're all seeing life through their own particular unique perspective and view or lens, if you will. And I started to realize, okay, even if people say that they believe the same, regardless if they're religious or not, or they're from the same culture or not, they still don't see things the exact same. Like if I, for example, hold up my hand, I say, what color is it? Most people will say brown, but then I'm looking at my hand saying a different color. So then we start arguing about, okay, this is right, but okay, but who's right? You know, we're both right. So I looked at that and I said, okay, if this is the case, then, you know, a lot of life is like this. And what about when it comes to religion? You know, maybe, just maybe, that we're all saying the same thing. We're seeing things through our different perspectives, and you know, we all have desires to do things. And I came to realize that more and more I looked and examined people, we all wanted the same fundamental things, and our desire to have those things, they're just expressed differently. And then I realized, okay, maybe my view isn't the only view that there is. So I decided to take off my view and lens of Christianity, put it aside, and decided to take up the lens of, hey, human beings are all on the same team. They want the exact same things, and our desire to get them are expressed differently. And now I want to learn about other people and their views and their perspectives, and see what I learn from that, and no longer try to force my views or my opinions on people. I said, okay, I tried living life that way. I'm going to choose now to live life this way. So this is why I live life the way I live now. This is why I left Christianity. Again, this is my view of Christianity at the time, because again, everybody has their own convictions. But based on my conviction, though, I chose to leave that view of Christianity and live out a different life. And for me, it's been very fulfilling. And now I get to learn about new religions. And now specifically, I'm learning a lot about the religion of Islam. It's very intriguing, guys. So guys, that's in a nutshell why I left Christianity and why I'm on my journey right now. So thank you guys for watching and hanging out with me. As always, your comments are welcome. Sound off down below. So look forward to continuing this journey with you guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Later.